Hello world. Good morning. Still chilly here. I'm in my studio and today's video will be a sewing video where I'm going to attempt to make what's called a patchwork pouch. Now I first saw this on Kate Jackson's channel and I'll put a link up here to her video of that, and you may really want to follow her if you want a serious tutorial. Mine are never tutorials. This is just kind of what I'm doing during the day. But they look super cute and very versatile. This is just a little square pouch that you can kind of roll up and tie up. Now I'm going to turn that, well, I don't have to turn the camera down. I'll just hold these up. I've been making little patchworky pieces of, she calls it making fabric. You're just sewing scraps together to make, and I've made squares and they look to be, I don't know, maybe 5 inches square, roughly 5 by 4 maybe. These are so fun. They are so scrappy and so random, and they don't take much, they don't take planning type of thought, if you know what I mean. Now this is my little bucket. I repurpose these spinach. We buy a lot of spinach containers, and instead of throwing them in the recycling, I use them to store scraps. I have lots of them stacked up with all of my strips of fabric, but as I make things with the strips, I end up with these little pieces like this, or just ones that are not long enough for other things, or might be long enough later. So I've been using this little bucket of scraps to make these little squares. And now I'm going to try to put these squares together, these squares of patchwork together, to make something that's about 12 by 12 square in order to make this, this little pouch. So let me see, I'm going to start putting these beside each other to see if I have enough for 12 by 12. I may have too many, I may have too few. And I just want to hold it up again just to show you that you can use all sizes of scraps and you can turn them any way you want. And you could do them in longer pieces. Kate Jackson does them in shorter pieces and then puts them together. I think you can do it however you want. There's not a right or wrong way to do this, as long as eventually you get about a 12 by 12 or whatever size you want. Now see, these two don't really match up, so I'm going to have to find some that match up in size. Those are a little closer, those two. And see if I like if I put those two together, do I like those next to each other? Does that look good? You really want some contrast in there with color. All right, so let's look down and see what I come up with for my 12 by 12. Now I've got a piece that's long enough, actually a little too long, so I'll probably chop off this part, tidy up this edge. but this will give me 12 inches this way, and now I need about 2.5 inches on the top. Now in squaring these up, I'm a novice of course, and not much of a seamstress, but I do try to pick one edge that looks pretty straight and tidy it up. So I do that first, and then of course I just, this one is very curvy here, as you can see it goes, so I put that there, even with a line there. Try to get as much fabric as I can out of it here in the middle at the low spot, and then cut off the excess, and that gives me another nice straight line to work with as I do the next one. So you kind of just rotate around the edges. So here it is all pieced together. Pretty fun. I love those orange, and I love that kind of goldy yellow that ended up in the middle. Although the pieces that are the most important are actually the corners, as you'll see later. I've pieced together some batting on the back that will be incorporated as I'm going to machine quilt this. Now the other side is not going to be patchwork. The other side is going to be one piece of fabric. And I look through my stash. Here, we'll put this here and ask ourselves which we like best. These are some turtles for the other side. I had a lot of fabric. These are the three I thought would work best. There's some pretty batik blue, which I think is a bit dark, perhaps. I don't know. Y'all may differ. And here's some fun bright green. The one that I think I liked best, however, is the turtles. I really like, of course, it has the yellow and the orange popping out. It'll be on the opposite side. Yeah, I like that. Any of the three of them would have done fine. This one is not quite wide enough. It's long, so I'm going to have to put two pieces together for the back. Sew them together, and then I'll put it together like a sandwich. Hope I do it correctly so that I can turn it inside out like a pillowcase and finish it up. And then what you do with it is you have the four corners that come in. Now this ended up being almost 11 inches square. Not quite 11. Now, of course, the batting is going to misbehave, but it goes like this, and then this one has a little tie, and you roll it up, and you can put stuff in it. It's a little bit like making a cootie catcher, if that's what we called it in the U.S. as when I was a child. Those little paper toys you play with, and they have numbers. And anyway, probably everybody has those around the world with a different name. Okay, so I'm going to put this together, and I'll show you what comes out of that. Now I sewed my backing on one side and realized, ooh, I'd better quilt that, attach that batting before I go any further to the quilted side. And so I just did kind of a crazy maze type of machine quilting. You can see it better here on the back. I started in the middle somewhere. Where's the middle? Somewhere in the middle. There you can see the tail, and just went around, slowly went around the whole piece and came out this corner out here. I escaped out of the maze. And so I've tacked down my batting. Now I didn't get it perfectly lined up here, but I did a pretty good job on this angle. So now I can go ahead and sew this backing onto it, the other side, and leave a spot to turn it. And then I'll show you. Okie dokie. So here it is. I've got, where's the needle? There. I've closed up my opening. You have to leave a opening. Mine's right here in order to turn it. So here's what will be the inside of the pouch is the turtles, and this will be the outside of the pouch. Now you kind of have to decide which corner you want to have where. Let me see. And if you get a square, it should fold up properly. Now, if you didn't do a square, it might not, and mine might not. I don't know. Now, the last step that I need to do is to sew these two edges together here and these two edges together here. I'm going to hand sew that, and that's why I left this attached. Now I can just run down here. Okay. And then it will be a pouch. Isn't that cute? I just love this. And it's thick because of the batting, so it's kind of sturdy. And then this one will be loose and will fold down, and it'll have a nice little, not a string, but you know, something attached to it that you can roll, that you put something in it like pencils or something, sewing notions. It could be a makeup bag, and you put that in there, close it up, roll the string up, and tie it. Anyway, super cute. So I've got errands to do. I can't finish this right now, but I'll finish this in time for this little video whenever I get it out this week. But here it is so far. I really like it. I love the turtles on the inside. Now, you can do this with just 2 pieces of fabric that you like that are the same size, and it would be so much faster. You could not put batting on the inside if you didn't want to. I like the feel of that, and I think it makes it sturdier. But yeah, I actually, when I was going through my stash, let me show you what I found. I found 2 pieces of fabric I really like. Actually, I really like this too. There's a lot of fabric in there I really like, but I love this. Isn't that pretty? I love Goldie Orange. It's a color I don't wear much, but I love it in other things. And then this I just adore. It's a batik. It almost looks like a tie-dye. And I'm thinking about making one for myself with these 2 together. I think that would be super fun. If these do well, I might take one to the farmer's market when it starts up soon and see if anybody buys it. And if they do, then I may make some more, because they are so versatile. It's not some little specialty item that you would never use. It's a real practical item. So maybe if I took some to the market and I put some makeup in one and some pencils in another or whatever. I tried to do that with these little bowls. I just love these little fabric bowls, and I made a bunch of them. I don't think I ever sold one at the market, even though I had one there with colored pencils in it. Nobody was interested. It's very sad. So, so now I have little fabric bowls all over the house, which is just fine with me. All right, I'll finish this up and I'll bring it back and show it to you later. Thanks. Well, it's the next morning, and I just finished our little project. Let me show you how it ended up. I'm pretty pleased with it, especially for the first one. So when you stitch it all up, and I used what I think is kind of what Kate Jackson called a herringbone stitch, just a hand stitch along these 2 edges to bring it together. It's a little envelope is all it is. And in order to tie it up the right way, you have to roll it while the flap is open. And then you have a string on here. This was just a piece of fabric that I folded over twice and stitched, and you wrap the long end around and then tie the long end and the short end together. You can do it in just a knot, or if you make it long enough, you can do it in a little bow like I had it. She also put a little button right there, just a decorative button on that corner, and I like that too. What I like about this especially is that when you're making it, it seems very boxy because the grid goes this way. But when you fold it up, everything is going diagonal. And that is just super fun. And I love the back. The outside patchwork is great. It will be fine with solid fabric, as I said, but the patchwork makes it super fun. And it's a great way to use up your scraps. So this one, what did I finish up at? Just under 11 inches before I did all of the sewing up. So you could put a marker in here. Here's a pen, a nice long pen. This is not long enough for paintbrushes. Some of them are very long, but it would certainly be big enough for a makeup case or a little jewelry case if you don't have things that will get tangled up. Lots of stuff you could keep in this. And if you had a bunch of them and you tied them up, you could keep them all this way in a little basket, which would be fun, wouldn't it? And you could have different craft things in here. So I really may, I'm just going to start making these when I have time and end up with a stack of them, and then I'll put them together and finish it when I have a mind to. So anyway, there's your little pouch. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.